We're live.
All rise, please. Join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everybody, and appreciate you that are here in person, and also those who may be watching on our YouTube channel. Tonight is a special council meeting, and I just have one thing before once we call the roll, I will have one thing I need to add on here. I've already talked to our attorney about that. So, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Burns.
Here.
Ms. Angeline.
Here.
Ms. Meyer. Ms. Meister.
Here.
Mr. Babel. Ms. Bolton.
Here.
Okay, so we have a quorum. Just for the record, Ms. Meyer will be coming. Penny, I need you to record the time that she enters. And Mr. Babel is ill. He called me today. Didn't sound very good. So I'm asking the council to make a motion to excuse his absence.
I will say we had numerous people miss the day with respiratory, so
Yeah.
it's going around. Yes, it is.
Probably so. Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mrs. Bolton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Meister. Any further discussion? Penny, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Ms. Angeline. Ms. Meister.
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, the next one is a motion to approve pay orders. I'm asking you guys to wait on that. We'll do that later. Cindy has or Ms. Ozer has a township trustee meeting tonight. I anticipate her getting here sometime after 7:30. So that one we're gonna put off till a little bit later. And so that means we'll move on to, thank you, Judge. We need to have a motion to approve the minutes from 9/10/25 council meeting. You need time to look at that first to allow that time.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Are we waiting on her before, for a particular reason why we aren't just going ahead and approving the pay orders, or?
Just in case you have questions.
Okay,
That's the only reason. If there aren't any questions, there's no.
well, let's not forget to do it if we're ready to be
Yeah.
done and she isn't here.
Unless you got questions, if you want to do that after we approve the council meeting.
Yeah, we can always ask her about what, you know, if we have questions.
Okay.
Because a lot of them have been mailed and paid. I mean, it's not,
Well, let's look at that and see if there's any questions from council. If not, I'd entertain a motion then to approve pay ordinance 10-2025.
I'm having trouble pulling it up.
Me too.
You want to look at my written copy?
Yes, please.
Two X's in that one, dash 2025. XX.
This is a good reason why we probably shouldn't go totally paperless yet. At least on ordinance copies. I hate paper. I'm getting used to not having paper, but when your electronics still on you.
Let me see what. Got regular burn, there's this last.
Well, the XX is a spacer for the radio. We don't do our ordinance numbers in Roman numerals. But thanks for letting us know, so, okay, thank you.
Is this the 8/27 special council meeting? The pay ordinance is 2025.
All right. I don't have any questions. We have to separate you two. She's so cute.
I do your way. Kevin, are you still trying to load it or?
I was doing a couple things, so. Take a look.
I finally got it up there.
Why Google makes it so hard to find the shared folder, I have no
Um,
7:07, Betty, make sure you
Sorry.
note that. Thank you. Good to hear, sir. You don't stop eating, you know, that's a 24/7, 365 day a year job.
Yes. That was your last one.
If there are any questions
Makes
on
you
this,
feel any better?
Can I ask a question? I'm not that familiar
Sure.
with the drive. Is it possible to create folders and put some of this older stuff in those folders so that it's not?
it is in folders, and that's, I think, so I've categorized this. On mine, there's a folder that's shared with you called council meeting packets. And then subfolders within that is, it's broken down into each month's packet. So,
So do I have to hit shared to get that?
you wanna hit shared with me. And after you hit shared with me, if you don't see it, type in council meeting packets
Okay.
under shared with me.
What I'm staring at is, I've got stuff from June.
Yeah, it gets,
Okay, I'll need a tutorial at a later date.
let's do it, like shared with me is,
I've got shared, but I don't have shared with me.
shared, it'd be on the left side of your screen, home activity workspaces, iDrive, shared drives, shared with me.
Nope. Oh, wait a minute. Trust me, I'm not ignorant about this stuff. I feel it right now, but. No,
It's pretty well affirmed that every tech company is making every product actually worse.
Yeah.
You're not making that. But that's,
No,
that's
no, I'm
still hard getting to.
oh, yes.
We probably should do something about that final alphabet.
It would be nice when it popped up if only the current stuff was there. I'm scrolling through and seeing stuff dated in June.
I too am not tempted to ask questions.
You and I are word people.
Oh, God, yeah, Microsoft all the way. Yeah, too many years.
Share drive.
I mean, I go back to Lotus, Word Perfect, Database 3, that's how old I am.
Yes, this is. So once you council meeting packets and type.
Okay, then you
So
find
once
it.
you're in there, now people watch, now everyone.
Right.
And what will I have to do from now on, just hit share?
Yep, that's one.
That's when you created it.
So. Yeah, I don't, it shows up different on your tablets, I'll try to make it more clean.
Thanks, Justin.
Sorry about that, I didn't know your viewing was different than when you're on a laptop.
So are there any questions involving the pay ordinance?
Not for me.
If there are no questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve pay ordinance 10-2025.
Make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Meister. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Burns. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yes. Yay.
We're gonna go back up to motion to approve the minutes from 9/10/25 council meeting. And, so long there, I forgot we hadn't done that, so if there's no questions, I'll take I'll entertain a motion to approve minutes from 9/10/2025 council meeting.
Move to approve the minutes.
Motion made by Mr. Burns. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Angeline. Any further questions? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. At this point, we're gonna move on to public comments and feedback. Due to this is a special council meeting, public comments are limited to only topics on this agenda. The village solicitor will stop any questions that fall outside the scope of the agenda. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak tonight or ask questions? There's nobody here to ask questions, and I'm gonna move on to the sheriff's report. And Justin, I assume you're gonna take care of that tonight?
I was advised that either Lieutenant Elroy or Corporal would be here. They're not in attendance, so I'll have to check in on that. On your drive, if you have your electronic copy, I wasn't prepared to present this report this evening. But the summary report is located in your drive.
We could
Chief
just,
summary report.
we could just table that and discuss it at the next council meeting if we need you when they're here.
Sure, for those that don't have it in their packet, I can just run through it real quick. There were 103 non-billable calls for service. 2 cases were assigned to detectives for investigation, 39 EMS runs, 58 self-initiated details, 1 crash report with no injuries, 9 warrant arrests were made, 31 traffic stops were conducted with 27 warnings, 4 citations. There were 11 criminal reports, 7 of those were theft or fraud. There's 1 drug offense, 1 assault, and 2 threats, harassment. Critical incidents that occurred inducing panic at Taylor Middle School. The threat was unfounded, in reference to a juvenile that threatened to shoot the middle school up. And there was a breaking and entering at 1 Henderson Kupfer, which is the Cleves Community Park. There was a news story on that, a local 12 attempted break-in. We've discussed this before, at least in the safety committee, that there's been an uptick in that area, and I think it has directly tied to the homeless encampment. Transient people that are wandering there in the evening. We had our Conex box broken into earlier in the year, and also the storage lot on Lower River was broken into at the same time. So we've upgraded our security and surveillance at the park. The village has. That's all I have as far as a police report.
Any questions from council? Justin, I didn't review these. The only question I have is, because I know Mr. Basil was hoping there would be a rundown as to how many of those reports were not on US 50, but within the village proper. So if you have a conversation and they can break it down that way, I appreciate it if you would do that. So,
I've had a conversation with Ms. Meister. You and I can speak and see how you'd like that adjusted in the next meeting, and any adjustments that you and Mr. Bates would like, I'll direct those to Sergeant Schmeek.
any other questions or comments?
I would like to just say that we've had these problems in the park for decades. This is nothing new. It's dark, it's secluded. We don't have lights lit up and because we don't have electric throughout the park. It's hard. We lock gates, we do whatever we can to keep vehicles out of there. But if someone's intent on getting into that park at night, they're gonna get into that park, especially on foot. So we can just do everything we can do, but not be too surprised.
We are intent on having, robust surveillance and we will catch them and we will prosecute.
Okay?
Okay, we're gonna move on to new, I'm sorry, we're gonna move on to old business. We're gonna go a little bit out of sequence here. At the last council meeting, we were doing our third reading, regulating open burn in the village, and that was ordinance 27-2025. We tabled that. And I think, there was a request by council that there be some changes in that. And Rob, since you are the one that worked on that, you wanna review that ordinance and the changes that
We ended up not making any changes to it because everything that we were going to change was in the document. It was just further throughout. So the way that it was prepared was absolutely perfect. It's just, Fable was reading just the top portion and wanting this stuff clarified. Well, it is clarified throughout the rest of the document.
He just didn't read all the way through.
Right, it would have been redundant to put that information in there and then have it follow again. And that ordinance is consistent with many other, communities. So, I ended up pulling the stuff I wrote out of there because it's in there already.
So I guess I turn that over to council if they have any questions they want to ask about that or discuss before we take a motion, because this is one that we can vote regularly, because this is actually the fourth time we've dealt with it. So,
The final reading and the
Yeah.
adoption.
so is there a motion to approve?
What is the actual number?
This is what,
Twenty-seven.
ordinance 27.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 27, regulating open burning in the village.
For a second. Second by Ms. Angeline. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Miss Angeline,
Yes.
Miss Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. Now we're gonna move on to new business. And I'm gonna turn this over to Justin to give an explanation, and I'll ask for a motion on that.
The motion for the removal of the skate park infrastructure and the donation to the village of Addison. Previously, we were communicating with Bell Fountain. We've lost communication with them. You were handling that, and I know you tried, exhausted all options there. Last week, Mayor Meir at Addison called and asked if we were still getting rid of it. Spoke to the mayor, and I think it's best case to give it to our community partner. I think they want to place it at their park, so.
We can make a motion to do that, but Rob, or should we adopt anything? They have them sign that they've taken ownership and that there's no liability on us. Do we have any legal liability for giving that equipment away to somebody else?
No, not up to date. I mean, they're gonna assemble it, they're gonna
Okay,
take the liability because it's gonna be assembled by them and hopefully correctly.
okay.
So, moving it to village council, authorize the removal of the equipment of the skate park on North Miami Avenue and donate the contents to the village of Addison, which plans to re-erect the same in the village of Addison.
Are they gonna move it? Or we gotta, who's paying for the removal of it?
I think at last we talked, our service department was going to remove it, regardless. Kind of a bare bones operation at this point with their struggle, so I think between their staff and ours, I guess we'll work out the logistics of that, but if our staff needed to help them, I think that we'd have time to do that as long as it's planned and coordinated.
What happened to the smaller pieces?
We removed those a while back
Right.
because the Parks Committee was discussing that and the liability that's there, and that was the one that was most concerning. And when we came out of that Parks Committee, I asked John to remove those, so they're just in storage.
Okay,
The other ones
so in
require
storage.
panels to be removed, so you actually have to physically remove the panel and climb inside to remove that. The other ones are very simple to get off.
So are they gonna take the smaller pieces too?
Yeah, they want everything.
Is the general council comfortable enough with this topic? I don't know that we've actually brought it to people here for a while. I only remember it in discussion in parks, so.
I'm very comfortable with it. I'm ready to see it go.
Yeah.
I don't think we inspect it and maintain it like we probably should, and I don't see kids on it ever, other than sitting at the top, so I'm ready. I
We
don't
have
think-
plans what we're gonna do with that parcel.
We're working on that.
I know in the immediate future, there'll be an overflow area, kind of inclement weather place where we can put a tent for the Christmas walk.
Probably the only other detail that I remember that was plans is if we get the equipment out of there now while the temperature's appropriate, we can put down the hot patch to make it a smooth surface for
John
general
doesn't
walking
think
around.
John doesn't think there's gonna be any problem because when they took off the smaller, there's no issue. So he's not anticipating any problem.
That's the other piece of information I think we would still take all ideas for that space and say to all ideas, we probably don't have the money for that yet. So.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Ms. Bolton. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Burns. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Miss Angeline,
Yes.
Miss Meyer,
Yes.
Miss Meister,
Yes.
Miss Bolton.
Yay.
Oh, I know, I got it here. Okay, the next one involves an Eagle Scout project to be finalized at the village gazebo. And you'd be authorizing the administrator to allocate funds not to exceed $1,000. If I could take a comment on that beforehand. This was one that was in progress. Okay, before we moved it. And this Eagle Scout wants to complete his project. And there was a lot of work that was done on it. I think a new roof was put on, a number of things. And then we had to make a decision here as a council when the library bought that, either we moved it or it was going to be destroyed. So we authorized for it to be moved. It was part of the grant cost. Excuse me, that's where you have all the new sidewalks and everything else that went in there. And so I just want to make sure that we remember the fact that that already took place. And then we were contacted, and I think Justin, from that point, I'll let you take over your discussions with the Boy Scouts.
Sure. So this project was initially funded with a nonprofit organization. They had beautification efforts in Cleves. They funded the first stage of it. Their intent was to fund all of it. That committee has since went debunked, and they donated the rest of their bank balance to the food pantry. So there's no money at this point left to complete the project. The rest of the scope of the project is to replace some broken or deteriorating boards and to paint it. So I don't see it being anywhere close to 1,000. It certainly won't exceed 1,000.
It's not really the Boy Scouts finishing the project.
It's an Eagle. We would just purchase the material for the Eagle Scout. So whatever boards they need, whatever paint they need to complete that Eagle Scout project, we would purchase. Ultimately, since it's going to be an improvement to our property, and then he'll replace boards that need to be replaced and the whole thing. We've just purchased the product that he needs to complete his project.
We've had a couple Eagle Scout projects in the past, And usually fundraising for the project is part of the Eagle Scout project, but that's what surprised me.
I think that what happened was a fundraising effort was, the scout presenting to the prior beautification committee, and they awarded him the money. It was delayed because of the move that had to occur. And, at this point, you know, his Eagle Scout project has been approved. He started it, and at no fault of his own, he had to pause because of the movement. And he only has a year left to complete it, so he wants to complete, his project is presented and approved by his, scout troop.
Will this come out of the park fund? Where will the fund?
It could come out of the park fund, it has the balance to do so.
Well, it is an improvement to our park, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
Gazebo Park?
Yes,
Do you have any idea when he's gonna complete it, Mike?
it has to be done by next summer. So I haven't coordinated any of the timing on the project. I paused them and told them that I would need to take to council, with it being a donation of sorts. So as soon as we have approval for it's authorizing me up to $1,000, and I can coordinate that and report back to our committee, council as a whole.
Isn't there a weather threshold when it comes to painting?
Yes, and I'm in his schedule. I mean, he's 17 years old, so I think his dad probably have to be free to bring him down here and maybe give him assistance.
Well, he'd probably be better off next spring, is all I'm suggesting, but that's up to him.
Any other questions?
Is the gazebo unsafe as it stands right now? Are these all aesthetic issues?
Aesthetic, I mean, there is one board that supports the railing. If somebody leans up against it, it could, I mean, it's not as structurally sound as it should be. That board should be replaced.
Would that be done by the Christmas board, the board itself?
Most likely, yes.
Can it be reinforced temporarily till after Christmas
Yes.
without being replaced? Okay, I would suggest maybe we consider that, since we are gonna have celebrations up there, 10th to 8th.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Meister, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Meyer. Any further discussion? Any call the roll.
Is the motion gonna clarify that it's
Do
coming
we
out
need
of
to
the park
specify,
fund?
say, do we need to specify that it will come out of the park fund?
Okay,
Okay, I'll type that in. I move that the village council authorize the administrator to allocate up to $1,000 for the completion of the village gazebo, by the candidate for the Eagle Scout, and to authorize continued work and completion of the project with funding coming from the park fund.
There you go.
And I'd like to add the addendum about the board being reinforced by the Christmas walk.
Well, I don't know that that needs to be part of the motion for the Eagle Scout.
No, our maintenance can make sure that's reinforced.
Okay, yeah.
do I have a motion to approve the amended motion?
I make that motion.
Motion, made by Ms. Meister, do I have a second?
Second that. Yes.
Okay. Second by Ms. Meyer. Any further discussion? Can you please call the roll?
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. Now this next one, okay, is pretty much outlined in the Miami Township fire contract that we approved. We have to do 2 payments. And Justin, I know you had more conversations than I have with Cindy, but she's the one I think who generated the request. Correct on that?
Yes, just with the volume of the disbursement, we wanted a motion from council authorizing that. It'll be the second half amount. We have received our second half disbursement, so we do have the funds available. So move that the village direct fiscal officer to disperse the previously contracted second annual payment, Miami Township for fire service in the amount of $180,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Bolton and seconded by Ms. Meister. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. We're now going to move on to ordinance number 30-2025. This amends the mayor's court clerk pay range permit and dual service as police clerk. And I believe because this is amending it, we're going to have to vote to suspend the rules on this one. Am I correct in that, Mr. I believe we've got to suspend the rules on the mayor's court.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna let Justin give you an overview of that, and then I will ask for a motion to suspend the rules.
So our previous mayor's court clerk, Ms. Lowry, she resigned, a month or so ago. She took a full-time position in the sheriff's office. Miss. And is, in taking the full-time position in the sheriff's office, she was no longer permitted to work with us. And Ms. Bolton and I researched with Center for Local Government and some other entities and partners on the market rate for this position, with it being a specialized position that requires continuing education certifications. We're requesting that the hourly pay rate range be adjusted to $20 to $30 an hour. And additionally, that this position can also serve in a dual role as the police clerk, given the this consolidated jobs and the fact that they need to be certified for criminal justice information systems. It's really a requisite of leads and our criminal justice information partners that they're serve a dual role.
I do have a question. That seems like a pretty big range. And I also wondered if they're gonna serve two roles, what kind of hours are we talking?
The hours would be the same as we discussed in finance committee, and that were appropriated in our budget. It would
Refresh my memory.
not to exceed 10 hours weekly.
Oh, okay.
And we left the pay rate range wide in the event that we have somebody else down the road that is new to the position, that may receive training to replace. But we need to have an experienced person to hire right now with our initiatives and getting them off the ground. We need somebody who has the experience, who's done it. Most likely, this is going to be somebody who serves as a mayor's court clerk in a nearby neighboring agency that has the experience, is familiar with software systems, familiar with entering warrants, data entry, things of that nature. Down the road, if that person were to leave or they take it interim to get us off the ground and we hire somebody with less experience, $20 would be a better market rate for somebody in an entry level position. That's why it has the wider pay range.
What ordinance number was this again?
30?
This is ordinance 30-2025. All right, is there any further questions that you need to have answered as council? If not, then I'm going to ask for a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 30-2025, amending the mayor's court clerk pay range and permit dual service as police clerk. Do I have a motion?
I'll mention.
Motion made by Ms. Myers. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Angeline. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Would it, for budgeting and appropriation reasons, would it make sense to also add a range for the hours per week? You're saying 10, but what happens if all of a sudden it's 20? That doubles what we might have budgeted or appropriated for.
Well, I think that it's, during our budget hearings and when council appropriates, it's directly within my purview to manage that and make sure that we don't exceed our appropriations. And so the reason I wouldn't want to set hours, there may be a week where it's 30, but then it's no hours the following week or the next, especially initially, where there's going to be a lot of front end work to get our leads terminal in place, to set up Baldwin software for Mayor's Court to create dockets and standardized forms. So initially, there may be surplus hours in the first month or so. But as that levels off, once we implement Mayor's Court, it won't exceed 10 hours weekly.
Okay, what have you appropriated for this so far?
The total appropriation for the local authority and Mayor's Court and everything was 60,000 for this year.
There is kind of a big difference between 20 and 30, and if you haven't hired anybody yet, and they have first couple weeks at 30 hours at $30, there will be a difference. And I just want to make sure we're staying within a reasonable budget, which I'm sure you will, Justin. I'm not saying I don't
Yeah,
trust
absolutely.
that,
So
but I'm just questioning.
yeah, for sure. Aaron was making 20. I guess to put it in perspective, Aaron was making $22 an hour. If let's say we get the best candidate possible, we offer them the top end at $30 an hour. That's a difference of $4,100 a year in appropriations. So I don't think it doesn't change the appropriation. Additionally, we haven't encumbered anywhere close to 60,000
Okay.
with some of the delays we've experienced.
All right, I'm sorry, I don't want to delay it anymore.
And to stay within our appropriations next year, if we have to trim an hour or two off of that, we'll stay within the range, within our constraints.
You and Cindy have documentation that lets you follow the breadcrumbs back to, well, we were thinking 10 hours for this position, 8 hours for that position. And that's multiplying out by this by our rate, like, is that spreadsheeted somewhere and
It was-
memorialized in some way?
It was in the initial staff study when we first launched the initiative to bring back the local police department and Mayor's Court. It was included in a table, with hours per week and total annual appropriation and staff study. And then there was work sessions and finance committee. I could dig this up for you if you'd like.
It's not from so we go to appropriate again next year. And, looking at this year, we have delays, so we don't have all the expenditures. There's up 4,600 in flexibility, but we're not using it. Well, we go to make that decision on appropriation again. What is the amount we're going to put in there? Do we have the resource to retrace our steps so that it's not relying on your memory?
Yeah.
What I'm asking is about hit by the bus issues.
Yes, we have this in our quest to have our ORI pre-approved. One of the addendums we had to submit was a budget. And so Cindy and I have done all that work in the budgeting. We have all those tables and charts available when it comes to next year's appropriations and budgeting. I'll include that. So
Sounds like they
That sounds like he answered my question.
the long answer is yes, we have all of that, and Cindy and I have worked together on it. The breakdown between Mayor's Court clerk salaries, officer salaries, my stipend, and software equipment training.
And if something goes berserk, it'll be all Cindy's fault.
100%.
Thanks. Welcome. First day of the show, that's anything.
Welcome, Ms. Ozer, welcome.
Thank you.
Discussing who to throw under the bus or what?
Oh, the one,
Hit by
yeah.
the bus? It's definitely gonna be a bus.
Okay, getting back to the motion I need is a motion to suspend.
I think it was introduced and then there was discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
we've
the
already
motion's already
done both.
there.
Any more discussion?
Gotcha. Thank you, Kim. Kimmy, call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0, and now I need a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 30-2025, amending the mayor's court clerk pay range, permit dual service as police clerk. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Bolton. Is there a second?
I'll second.
that you, Stephanie?
Yes.
Nice. Thank you. Second by Ms. Meyer. And now, is there any further discussion of council? Any questions that you want to ask? If there are no questions and no comments, Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
5-0, it passes. And now we're going to move on to ordinance 31-2025. This is to approve an appropriation increase to the park fund based on increased revenue. This one, we also have to suspend the rules first. So we don't do 3 readings on this. So first of all, let me ask if there's any questions that you want to do to Justin, or if Justin, you want to make some comment as to why you have put this in here. That's probably the right way to start.
Sure, well, the request came from, Ms. Oster, fiscal officer. We've exceeded our appropriated amount. We brought in more revenue than we anticipated, and
A lot more.
a lot, yeah, we have, and that's resulted to a handful of things that we've discussed. So our revenue, surpassed what we thought it would, and what it did last year.
And we started we budgeted our salaries a little higher than last year, but remember he opened it in June
July last year.
this year.
July again.
Right, but so it's been a longer season and more salaries, so.
And we've done a lot more to the department this year. So, from purchasing the storage, the shipping container, as well as improving our ball fields, we've spent more money, which is in part a reason why we've increased our revenue too, through the leases that we've obtained with other softball and baseball entities to practice their football.
So does that money go into the general fund?
No,
That's the park fund.
So how,
It's already there, the revenue, but we only appropriated, say, 20,000.
okay, so we're just.
I just need to bump it, so like he said, we have spent a lot more on upkeep and more salaries. So we just need 10,000 more to get through the year, but the revenue is there. When I appropriate it in the beginning of the year, I can only appropriate to a certain, what our forecast is. So now our
We
revenue
exceeded the
is
forecast.
increased.
So it's like a
So I-
pot that we need to pull from.
Yeah, it's in there.
So since we made more, we've spent more. The fund balance has increased from last year, so.
So we need
This
to
is-
declare that we're going to rob Paul to pay Paul.
Right, that is kind of, it is really that. The money's there, but we just have to do it.
this is a
Yes.
100% housekeeping item.
Yes, it
Really,
really
the
is.
auditors of state want you to do.
It's
Let me give
protecting
you an example.
us.
Let's say she said, we're gonna take $30,000 this year. And we took 50,000. That extra 20,000, if you don't need it to spend it, you can wait till the end of the year, roll it over as a fund balance and appropriate for next year. But they do need it this year. They need some of that money that we brought in to pay.
Right, we
expenses.
are definitely, at the end of the year, we'll be rolling a lot more money over than we did the last few years.
Right.
On
So it's a
top of this
housekeeping
10,000.
item, simply to report that.
Yeah, it's
Yay,
just a
we brought in more money.
And
for
I
the
have to
park
report
fund.
it to the county, so they have that, because they tell us what we can approve and what we can spend too.
I did them,
Yeah, so
tons of them.
it's just, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm happy to explain it to anybody in further detail if they need it. And so I'm sure Cindy would.
Any other questions from council? Do I have a motion to suspend the rules then for ordinance number 31 to approve the appropriation increase to the park fund based on increased revenue?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Meister, second by Kevin Burns. And any further questions? If not, Penny, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Now we're going to need a motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 31-2025 to approve an appropriation increase to the park fund based on increased revenue. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Meister. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Burns. Any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, Penny, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. Now I'm gonna have, we're gonna have to do another suspension of the rule for ordinance number 32-2025 to approve an appropriation increase to the waterworks fund. And Justin, if you would explain this one, please.
Ordinance, to appropriate an additional $65,000 for waterworks, operating appropriations this year. This is necessary in order to move forward with the Addison bulk water contract. There's planning and engineering that has to occur, with the bulk water agreement that we, executed with Addison based off of the grant award. And this $65,000, increase of appropriation will go towards the engineering costs. That will be reimbursed to us, later, probably early 2026, when the, grant money is dispersed. So this is just, we're paying it and there's a reimbursement on the back end.
But just like the park, the funds are in there. We just took in more money than we had appropriated or estimated that we were gonna take in.
But in this case, it's not that we took in more money. We have taken in more money. But our appropriations, our expenses are going to exceed appropriations because we didn't budget for the
Right, we didn't-
We didn't
$65,000.
appropriate, you didn't appropriate all the money. See, years ago, we appropriated everything that came in. So we didn't have this issue, but no, it's another housekeeping.
Yes.
This is an expense that we wouldn't have incurred if we didn't get the grant. And so we have to pay for the engineering now. Engineering is the first part. We have to submit that engineering plan by the end of October. They've been working on this already, so that $65,000 will be paid, in disbursements, from now through December. And then in January, February, the EPA will, when they ultimately give us the award, will repay this 65.
But it's all waterworks money right now.
Correct.
Okay, I want to clarify that.
Any other questions? If there are no other questions, I'm gonna ask for a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance number 32-2025 to approve an appropriation increase in the waterworks fund. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Meister. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Angeline. Any further discussion or question? No further discussion or question. Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
And ordinance passes by a 5-0 vote. Now we have two resolutions, and we sort of put these around because we weren't sure, Cindy, what time you were gonna be here. So we're actually gonna continue with the way I've got them numbered here currently. So Justin, I'd like you, we have a resolution. And Rob, I'm gonna ask you again, because I forget on this, do we have to do a resolution to suspend the rules? I mean, do we have to suspend the rules on that? Or are you able to just do one reading of it?
You gotta suspend a rule.
Okay.
You know, that's the charter.
All right, just want to make sure procedurally how we needed to do that. So this would be resolution number 13-2025. Ask you to suspend the rules authorizing the administrator to execute a contract with Rumpke for garbage and recycling services in your packet. I believe those figures are there. And Justin, I'd like you to review that also, not just only for council, but for the public.
So did you skip over the accepting amounts and rates?
Yeah, we're gonna do that last because we switched them around. Because, we weren't sure what time Cindy would get here.
Or give me just 1 second, just to make sure that I pull this up because I have the amounts already said. The village contracts with Rumpke for trash collection and recycling. We've contracted with them for many years. Our last contract it was actually an addendum, a 3-year extension that's set to expire at the end of this year. We have to execute a new contract for continued service, starting January 1 of 2026. In this resolution, there's 3 options. Rob, correct me here because I know we had to talk about this, but if you look down on section 1 of the ordinance, are we passing this resolution, or they did select an option? Okay. Just want to clarify.
Yeah, because, yeah, we would.
There's 3 options that you have tonight. One of those would be for trash collection only with no recycling, or solid waste trash collection with mandatory recycling for all residents. Or C, which is what we've done in the past, which is trash collection with individual opt-in recycling option for residents. If you look in your informational packet here, some quick numbers. Starting January 1 of 2026, the rate for trash collection with voluntary opt-in would be $16.25 per month for trash, and an additional $5.65 per month for the opt-in recycling. If you went with mandatory trash and recycling for all units, it would be $21.80 per unit per month. Now, ultimately, it's up to council. The benefit we're one of there's 7 of 41 communities that don't have mandatory recycling. We're one of them. 2 of the others have their own collection service, so we're one of 5. When we do the Get It to the Curb Day and that grant money, our funding is directly tied to the weight of recycling that we turn in. All of our recycling is weighed and then reported to the county. They use that weight to determine how much funding we get in the form of a grant for the Get It to the Curb Day, where we take tires and all of the rest. There is a benefit to having all residents have a recycling receptacle, because the thought there is that more recycling would be turned in, our weight would increase, and then our funding on the back end would increase. Obviously, that's an additional $5.50 a month if we were to select that option. I know there may be questions there.
Well, I've got an opinion for what it's worth.
What were those numbers again? I'm sorry.
Sure. So January 1 of 2026, the rate for trash collection will be $16.25. The rate for recycling monthly would be $5.65 per month. And if you were to do trash and recycling, it would be $21.80 per month. Currently,
So it's not that much.
currently we're paying $15.41 per month for trash, and $5.41 per unit for recycling. It's about
What would the consumer see?
I mean, I feel like it equals the same, no? Am I missing something?
No, the consumers would see an increase, if we force them into recycling, the increase would be from $15 a month to $21.80 a month. They'd see a $5.80 increase in their bill per month. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm telling you, recycling can be a hotbed issue. There are still people out there now that insist that it goes in the dump with all the garbage, even though there's a big, huge recycling plant that Rumpke will give you a tour through anytime you want to see it. But there's still people that believe that it gets picked up and thrown with the garbage. Believe it or not, you will have your set of headaches with people if you force them into recycling. I am a huge person that recycles. I grew up out there on Pippin Road, right by Mount Rumpke, we called it. I watched that thing grow, right? So I fill my bin, I wheel it out to the street, I pay to do that because it's important to me. I don't know that forcing people to do it is politically a smart idea. That's my opinion. I'd love to see everybody do it. I wouldn't love anything more than seeing all these recycle bins. Westgate Drive, I go out on Thursday morning, which is recycling day, up and down my street, and I may see 4 or 5 recycle bins at the most on that whole street. So I would just caution you that it doesn't seem like a lot more money. I would never, but I'm paying $4 or whatever a month. What is the recycling cost now?
Currently, it's $541.
I'm paying $541 to do it because it's important to me. But I can guarantee you that if you force people, I mean, other communities have done it, and apparently a lot of them are doing it. I don't know. I'm concerned.
I agree with Linda on that. I would opt for the trash collection with the opt-in recycling option. If we go with the mandatory recycling, it's not, if they're saving 10 cents a month, so it's not like we're getting a huge discount by doing that. So I would vote for the opt-in recycling that we've been doing.
Again,
I agree.
the only real benefit there, it's not a cost savings benefit to the consumer necessarily, but it would increase our funding for the get curbs. That's really the benefit in doing this. And I do have other communities that have signed, all the other communities that have signed new contracts this year and their percent increase. Just real quick, our increase is set to be 5.45% with what we've negotiated. Springboro is a 29% increase. Columbia Township's a 15% increase. Green Hills is a 20.5% increase. Fairfax is the same. Loveland a 21% increase. Mount Healthy is a 20% increase. Springdale's a 16, and we've negotiated a 5.45. So
We can't
we're
get,
pretty good.
we can't get people to put their trash in their trash cans. What makes you think we're gonna get people to put recycles and separate the trash?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not proposing that argument at all. It's just, these were the options presented, and so I wanted to bring all of the information to council so you can make an informed decision, either way you go.
I walked to both neighbors on both sides of me and 3 neighbors directly across the street. I said, I have a big bin on wheels. Help me fill it. Because once my boys moved out, you know, I put it out maybe every other week. Please help me fill it. I'll pay for it. You know how many of my neighbors took me up on that offer? 0. And it wouldn't have cost them a dime.
It is worth noting with the recycling that they sell these at Kroger and Meyer and anywhere really with the orange trash bags.
I get those.
If you have an orange trash bag, there's only certain things that can go in it.
Correct.
To prove your point that they do actually recycle it, is they pull that can't go through their normal recycling sorter, things like styrofoam and other stuff. But for every 20 bags, they're able to make a park bench out of trash.
I know. I
They
do it.
that, so.
I use the orange bags.
I've got a question I want to ask Rob, because I'm asking to suspend the rules. Do we need to select an option?
Yeah, there should be a motion.
I don't see the motion. That's what I was gonna ask.
Linda, do you ever have issues with them not taking your recycling? I feel like we have to call them all the time,
No.
like, you didn't take your recyclables again. Didn't take, like.
No.
I have to do that all the time when I go there.
Is it the one on wheels?
They just don't do it, like,
Yeah.
100 times a month, they don't take it.
We've
And I
never
don't know
had.
why.
No, I've never had trouble on Westgate. And maybe it's a different route, different driver.
I think we're just waiting on the housekeeping to make sure that we're in compliance with which, we have to have a motion first for which option you're going to select.
It's what?
Well, if somebody makes a motion for one option and it's seconded and it's voted and approved, then I don't think,
It's not.
You've got to change the ordinance is gonna have to change the way it's
Is this an
It's a
ordinance or a
resolution.
resolution? It's written up.
I'm
as a
sorry, resolution.
It will be a resolution that you're going to adopt, but first we need to we need a motion. I need a motion for
But can I make,
one of the 3 options.
can I make the motion that we proceed with the solid waste trash collection with the individual opt-in recycling option for residents, with front key?
Which option is that?
That's
It's
option
option
C.
See,
So Ms. Meister makes a motion to adopt option C as part of this ordinance. And I just need a second.
I'll second.
Second by, I saw your hand up first, so.
That's fine, whoever.
By Ms.
I
Bolton.
usually yell out.
Any further discussion on that? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
yes,
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
That motion passes 5-0. Now we need to understand that. I think what we gotta do on this, Rob, is we gotta mark off A and B.
Yeah, we're going to, it says it right here.
It does?
Yes.
Okay. So,
I will take care of that.
all right, very good. So now what I need is a motion to suspend the rules for a resolution authorizing the village administrator to execute a contract with Rumpke Waste and Recycling for the provision of solid waste collection and recycling services and declaring the intent to provide consistent sanitation services for residents within the village. Option C.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Ms. Meister. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Angeline. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. And now what I'd like to do is have a motion to approve resolution 13-2025. The resolution authorizing the village administrator to execute a contract with Rumpke Waste and Recycling for the provision of solid waste collection and recycling services and declaring an intent to provide consistent sanitation services for residents within the village. Option C.
I'll make that motion.
Motion is made by Ms. Meister. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Meyer. Any further discussion? Penny, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Angeline,
yes,
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
And the resolution is adopted. Resolution 13-2025 by 5-0 vote. Okay, now we're gonna move on to resolution number 14, and we're also gonna have to suspend the rules for that. This one is accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. I know Cindy, you just did this at the township
Yeah.
just recently.
We have to do
So
it every
why
year.
don't you give the background why this resolution?
This is another county thing that we have to do. Basically, Justin, the council, we are approving all the levies that will be on for next year, or not on, but what levies you have and the new one if it passes. So it tells us the amount that we'll be receiving and the inside millage, the outside millage and all that. So we're certifying, so we're telling the county this is correct. So. and
The county provides the.
Yeah, they provide
They
it,
provide the amounts to us.
right. And,
And, I've never had a say.
well,
Oh, no.
if you remember though, 2 or 3 years ago when I first came in, there was an issue,
Oh, okay, that's
Remember?
right, one of the levies was not on there.
right? And I emailed them, I said, there's something wrong, God, there's not enough money here.
I think
And
I
I
asked her
called.
where it was.
Even though you're approving it, if there's a problem, they will fix it. You know what I mean? So, now, remember, the levy doesn't go, then that amount will be removed off of there. But right now, they do have it proposed. If you see on there, it says proposed levy for safety, so.
This is housekeeping again.
It is, just
Just like you do every year.
Just once again, I have to send it to the county.
Okay, so if there are no other questions or comments, I'm asking for the council to give me a motion to suspend the rules for resolution 14, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission, and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. I have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Meister. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Burns. Any further discussion? Penny, call roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Miss Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. Now I'm asking for a motion to adopt resolution 14, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Ms. Meister. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Burns. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Miss Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
You do?
Oh,
Okay, just pointed out, I'm not sure how that happened. Right?
We haven't voted on this one yet. Let's go.
Yeah, well, hold on a second. I need to tell them though, we're gonna have to go back.
You need to go back to ordinance 32, right?
Uh-huh.
I was gonna ask about that in a minute.
Yeah.
So right now, we're gonna do the motion to pass this resolution 13, 2025, authorizing the administrator to execute. No. Yeah. Oh,
Right now, we're on resolution
we're
14.
on
It's
14.
been motion and second to pass,
Yeah.
to adopt.
So this is adopt resolution 14, accepting the amounts and rates.
Yep.
Thank you. Getting myself confused here. I apologize. Do I have a
And
motion?
didn't we do both?
I already.
We did
motioned
not
it.
on
I don't know
32,
if
no.
second.
Okay.
All right.
No.
We've already got first and seconds. Penny, please call the roll.
Well, what are we voting?
We're voting on 14, resolution 14, 2025.
I thought we did.
We did.
14.
We did 14.
14's done.
So what's
We
going
need a
on?
roll call for the second?
We did.
You did, okay.
Mhm.
So we have to roll call ordinance 32, the ordinance reappropriating $65,000 for waterworks fund. We voted to suspend the rules, correct? But we now
Yes.
need a roll call for the vote to adopt.
Correct.
So I need a motion to adopt ordinance.
So I will make the motion to adopt ordinance 32 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Second by Ms. Meister.
Ms. Bolton.
Motion, Meister,
Motion
second by
by,
Bolton.
I'm sorry, motion by Ms. Meister, second by Ms. Bolton. Any further discussion? Penny, please call the roll.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Miss Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. I think the only other thing we have to do is have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Burns. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Meister. Any further discussion? Penny, call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Miss Angeline,
Yes.
Ms. Meyer,
Yes.
Ms. Meister,
Yes.
Ms. Bolton.
Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening.
If I bring some rotten tomatoes in, we're going to you in that.
What's that?
Are you?